let's go over some other symbols. So see, so you asked me, when do you use, let me copy that question again. So now I've told comments, so I have added all of this here. What I'm going to do is if I run this like this is going to give me an error. So what I will do is I will just add a comment. I'll make this a comment and the error goes away. You see, so comments can be used for documenting, but you can also use comments for sometimes commenting out your code. Let's say I don't want to run this code. I don't want to see this ugly output. I just comment it out for now and it prints nothing now because there is nothing that it sees. So that's where you use comments. That's another way that you can use them. So now what I'm going to do is take this. This is just a small sample. Let's create another sample. To create another sample, all you do is hit on this code button. Post this. So that's the question that you have posted. Let's also make it more readable for all. So I'll put it on multiple lines. This and this. So we looked at when to use this guy. Let's look at when to use quotes. So typically you use quotes when to use this or this. You can also use single quotes or double quotes. It doesn't matter. You use them. The answer is whenever you define. So what do I mean by that? This. So let's say if I wanted to store the names of all the people attending office hours today and say a hello to all of you, right? The way that I can do that is by saying student 1 equal to Jason. And notice that I have put the name Jason within the quotes. If I wanted to add another student's name, I will again add that this way. Let's say if I wanted to add another student's name, I will add it again here. I'm sorry, Madsiar. That's another question. So now we have 3 names. So I've seen you're working in different lines, just as a notebook. Do these lines have specific functions or we give them instructions how to function? Example, the comment line. Is that a comment line always, or do we tell that line to serve as a comment? No. So anything that you put this way, this will always be a comment. Anything that has a hash before it, think of it like this is a special character. This is a special character that tells Python that it will work as a comment. You don't need to specify anything. This is sort of your making a signal. You're making a signal. So it's like this, and then Python knows that, okay, this is a comment now. Whatever you put beyond that, I'm not going to care. I'm not going to care whatever happens after this. But if I were to take this away, let's say if I were to uncomment it, and if I try to run, it will lead to an error. It does not like it now because it cannot understand what I'm saying, when to use. I'm writing in some natural language that you and I can understand, but Python cannot. So to ignore it again, I just hit this and we should be good to go. So similarly, everything that you put within the quotes, so Jason or Zelda or Amatsiar, if I pronounce that right, everything that you put inside the quotes is what you call everything within the quotes is a string, and I can't leave it like this. So what do? I make it a comment so that you guys can see it. So everything within the quotes is a string. So JSON, so student1 is basically a string. Student2 is a string. Student3 is a string. Now I'll tell you how this is useful. This is useful because I can say print, and then let's say hello. Let's say I put welcome to office hours, and let me put the name of the student. No. So, okay, I should have also taken this guy. It does not understand this symbol. It should be this way. So now I can see that I can get JSON. Similarly, if I just change this to student2, I can get Zelda, or I can get the third name, Amatsu. Okay, only CR is fine. Sure. So am I making sense so far? Are you guys able to follow along? Is the pace too fast or is it correct? Do you want me to sort of emphasize something? What I would encourage you to do is just play around with this the same way. You know, I am going to go on one last concept, which is going to make this tutorial complete. Now notice what I had to do each time. If I wanted to print out each student's name, right? Think of it like you're developing your own web application, or you're developing an application that tells each time you load a web page, it says hello Jason, hello Zelda, hello Amatsir. You know, we are writing our own office hours application, and you wanted to do that. So we figured out the part that, okay, if we have a variable for each student's name, and if I say welcome to office hours and that thing there, that's good. We can print out the name. But what if I wanted to print out all the names of the students without having to each time change, you know, this thing, student 1 or student 2 or student 3? I can do it like, you know, the easy way is I can do it this way. I can print it this way. I can print it this way, then change it to 2, then change it to 3. And this will work. You will see all of them. But let's say if there were 100 students, you can't keep printing code like this. So the way that you can try and do this is by putting this statement in a loop, is how you can actually do that. But simply if you try to put this in a loop, let's say if I were to write this for I in range, let's say 3, I am saying I feel that there are 3 students, so I will put everything in a loop. And okay, one more thing to know. So Python code is naturally indented, and I will go over the rules. I don't want to give you too much to learn in one day because it can be overwhelming suddenly. But what it basically means is that if you have a for loop, and if I put statements like this here, this won't work. It will give me an error. It says expected an indented block. Remember this error, okay? I'm going to make a note of this error and I'm going to post it for you guys to look at. And no, none of your questions are irrelevant. I have faced this myself a lot of times, so it's perfectly fine. No worries at all. So what you have to do is select all of this and hit the tab button on your keyboard, and it moves ahead by 1. And now you have it this way. If you hit this, see that it has printed all the lines that are indented after the for, and it has done it 3 times. So you have 3 lines, and for 3 lines, it does it 3 times. So you get an output of 9. If I were to do it 5 times, I will get 3 lines times 5, which is 15. So if you see here, that's how you can print 15, and we can make it now. We have made it even more dynamic. So that's the next step. I think I will stop here for today because it can suddenly become a lot. I can go on and then it can become overwhelming. So I don't want to overwhelm you with a lot of content. I'll stop the video here. I will share it on office hours. You guys can take a look, think about it. You can also ask me questions again. It's okay if you didn't get all the concepts right away. It takes some time for it to for you to make sense of it. But once you start making sense of it, it will become almost second nature. It will become very natural to you. Thank you, guys.